Internet, go. There it is. We're there. We're live. How'd you like me now? Base in the place, London. Oh, hi.
Hello. Just putting my jazz playlist on.
Oh, hey, that was a bit of jazz. I've gone for City in Colour because I haven't heard them for a very long time.
That's a fair shout.
Oh.
Please allow me to introduce myself. Sorry, I'm ready to go.
He's good to go.
I'm good to go. I feel like the shit. I haven't got the pod notes up, actually.
Don't need them, mate.
There's not much to say.
There's not a lot to say.
Just load them up now. Here we go.
I didn't even see any of that EA stuff. I read that. I was like,
watched
what?
It live.
Did you? I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I don't know if anyone else did, but
No.
Just me.
Yeah, just you on your lonesome.
Where's the button? I'm looking for the button.
The button? Oh,
yeah.
You got your finger on the button?
So I'm outside of your window.
Oh. No.
Right. Yeah, I'm good. Let's do it.
Yeah, podcast, go. You start.
Hello and welcome to the JfG Podcast. This is episode 255. My name's Alex. I'm joined, as ever, by my good friend Ash. Ash is here. Are you there, Ash?
I'm here. I'm right here. Hundreds of miles away, as always.
I wasn't lying.
But I'm here in your ear.
Yeah.
Right here in your ear. Yeah, mate. How's it going? It's Wednesday. Podcast. Let's do this.
Oh, it's podcast.
Yep.
Oh.
Didn't know? Didn't you get the memo?
Yeah, here I am.
Tuesday's arms and back.
It's absolutely right. How you doing? What have you been doing? Anything?
Yeah,
Probably nothing.
I'm good. I've done nothing.
Excellent.
I've sown some seeds, grass seeds. Yeah,
oh, okay.
No, that's sowing, buddy. I wasn't sowing the seeds of love. I was
right.
Yeah, I've put some grass seed down. Fucking.
Oh, that's nice.
There you go. That's a big story for you. Just fucking working on that.
Front page headline.
Yeah,
there it is.
Obviously. Yeah, I was digging and I dug up some soil and I put it down and then put the grass seed on it and I've been watering it every day. No grass as of yet. It's been day 5 in the Big Brother house or whatever
It's getting all that lovely heat from this particular brand of heat wave.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not enjoying it.
No. I mean, I don't like wearing a uniform in this heat. It's
unrelated, but interesting to know.
Well, I have to wear a uniform at work, you know. These things go hand in hand. Not all people at work have to wear uniforms, but clothes mainly.
When the weather's shit and everyone's furloughed and they have to stay indoors, I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Because fuck you all. So anyway, there we are, buddy. It's hot.
Shit all from me, mate, this week. Absolutely nothing. I did stuff of no importance.
Well,
it was Father's Day, and I got some beer, which I'm drinking right now, which is nice.
Oh, well, we might as well cover that particular topic at this point then, buddy. What are you drinking this evening?
I want the Shipyard IPA.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, does the job. The kids bought me a couple of them, along with, like, loads of malt and hops, which I technically bought myself, but that was for Father's Day. So hopefully this weekend is beer making Sunday. I'm going to go to the Church of Beer Making. That's my church. And I've got to make some beer. So Shipyard IPA, buddy, this week. What about you? What are you on?
I am on this Sierra Nevada California IPA, buddy, which I'm very much enjoying of late.
Nice.
It's a citrusy and sessionable ale. It's just really nice.
Does the job.
At Tesco, they're a bit steep. They're like £6 for 4 of these.
Oh, Jesus.
But £9 for 8. Quite a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's how much you pay for nice beer. So,
Yeah.
there's nothing. I haven't really got anything else. It's not like I go to the pub and buy actual pints. So I'm forking out on nice beers, propping it up, of course, with a big crate of Stella for game night. So
nice, classic. Keeping it real.
I know where I came from, so to speak.
Yeah, obviously, it makes sense.
It's important.
So apart from that, buddy, have you been doing anything else?
Fuck no. I've been nowhere. I've done nothing.
Cool.
I've been working in my bedroom, just waiting to see what happens with the general world outside. And
everything's going back to normal on the 4th of July, I've been told.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about the second spike. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't look at other countries where they're like, "Oh shit, it's all gone tits up again."
Don't look at that.
Don't worry about that. It's all good.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. Oh well.
Yeah.
So we should probably talk about some games. There was
video
also
games,
some sort of like EA conference this week.
Fuck yeah, there was, which I didn't realize happened until I read the notes and was like, "Oh, okay, that's something that's happened this week, was it?" Yeah.
I watched it. It was quite a slick show. We'll get onto that a little bit later on. Obviously,
Nice.
the big game released this week. The game that everyone seems to be playing on my friends list is The Last of Us Part 2.
That came out. We bought it.
We bought it, and I completed it about half an hour ago. So,
yeah, you did. You've spoiled the end music for me now.
Yes, you now know what music happens at the end. So there's a new level of detail for spoilers. Fucking
hell, I was looking forward to that.
Nice little reprise of the sort of first game's original score. So that's nice. Spoilers. But obviously that's not the sort of game that we can talk about in any great detail because it's a heavily story-based game. And,
yes, but we can talk
about
it. I've chucked about 3 hours into it, which isn't a lot. I'm wanting to play it a hell of a lot more, but things happen,
Yeah.
I ended up not playing hardly any games. I mean, not playing. Yeah. What? No, that doesn't make sense. I hardly played any games. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double negatives and things, whatever. Anyway, I also completed a game this week, buddy.
What was that game?
Concrete Genie.
What a fucking game that is, buddy.
Great game. Loved it. I played loads of it ages ago when I think we first got it. Never completed it. And then it was Thursday night, and I was like, The Last of Us is out at 12. I need to kill some time doing something. So I played Concrete Genie and completed it. Completed it at like 11:30, and I was like, well, kind of want to go to bed now. I've done that.
There you go. You've already achieved something. Might as well.
Yeah, it's really good. Lovely story about, shitbags turning into not shitbags, really. And being the bigger man, I guess. And not when other people are in need, and if they knock you down, you still help them. And hopefully they will be whatever for it. But hey ho. Yeah, it was a great game. I love the little monsters. They're fun. Little puzzles. I love puzzle games. I love puzzle games.
Good puzzles in there. It's got drawing.
Lovely puzzles.
If you like drawing and painting and stamps, that's great. It's very colourful. There's lots of fairy lights. I mean, what's not to like about this thing?
Exactly.
It controls quite nicely. The world's really interesting. And
it is.
It doesn't outstay its welcome, unlike some games. So,
okay.
So, it's... we picked it up on a whim because the missus saw the trailer and that was it. She was like...
She wanted it.
Probably want to buy that game. And,
probably get that one because that looks really nice. Yeah.
The Cosmic Dads enjoyed this one as well. We were talking about it in the Discord a little while ago. So I mean, it's mega cheap on the store as well. If anyone hasn't experienced it yet, it looks like a sort of a baby game to a degree, but
yeah,
it is and it isn't. It can be enjoyed in both, like a family sort of style game or just to play through on your own. I think there's enough for everyone there.
Yeah, definitely agreed. Very good game. Nice art style. The art style and like animation of like the cutscenes is really. I'm trying to think of. It reminds me of some like kids TV program that like my kids watch, but I can't remember what it is. But it's very. I want to say kind of janky, but or like
It's got a jank.
you know, it's got the jank. Name of the podcast. There we go. No, what's it like? Tearaway, and things like that. That kind of papery animation-esque thing. You know what I'm saying? That thing. It's got that. It's very nice. Anyway, good game. Completed that. It went well. Other game I played. Dishonored, the original one, because I'm kind of quite excited over the game that I can't fucking remember. Death something. No, what's the new one from Arcane? Deathloop. There you go.
Yeah, launch type PS5.
Yeah, PS5 launcher. I'm quite excited about that, and it reminded me that I never finished the original Dishonored. So, yep, making my way through that. It's very good. It's very very good. I like that game, and I like the second one a hell of a lot. You can be so sneaky, but also so ruthless at the same time. It's really cool.
Second one was kind of more sandboxy, wasn't it? But
yes, there was a lot more openness,
but still good.
So.
Like sometimes you don't want that sort of Mirror's Edge situation where they're like, we're going to make an open world because open world, and then it ruined the concept of this.
No, that doesn't work.
No, they're both excellent games and continue to astound me quite why Prey wasn't a good game in my eyes. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it was strange though. Obviously playing it, like the visual perspective. Obviously, it's a first-person thing, but it felt like I was looking at like some kind of fisheye lens, looking through like a fisheye lens or something like that. It seemed like I could see a lot more peripheral. I don't know if I had it set up weirdly on my PC because I'm playing it on Steam, but yeah, I don't know. It felt really odd.
It sounds like you just got used to console FOV, which is always
I think so. Yeah, it was really nice. I was like, wow, I can see everything.
yeah. And people who suffer with sort of jitters and jolts and motion sickness and all of that sort of thing, that FOV is like super important and is a stick with which to beat the console gamer if you're a PC gamer. But FOV can be pretty fucking hideous on console, although perhaps not in the next generation, buddy, because we'll have consoles with actual power.
But no options.
Of any kind. Yeah. Something's great. And yeah, as you say, Deathloop looks the shit. It looks like it might be the most exciting thing on the console at launch.
Yeah, Deathloop.
It might be the black flag of the PS5, buddy. Maybe.
Terrible. How? Why? But it was. Black Flag was amazing. Anyway, yes. So that, I mean, obviously, I have played some of the Last of Us Part 2. Obviously, not as much as you, since you've completed it now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do you want to go into that? I see you've got something else there though. Do you want to talk?
I have. I very briefly mentioned that I've been playing the eFootball PES 2020 Euro 2020 mode, and I say
that's
mode.
Not a mouthful.
Because if you didn't know that this exists. Now, firstly, it's worth noting that every time you fire up this video game, and it's an atrocious video game, let's not pretend that it's a good game. I don't know what you're thinking. The team, I wish I could just sit down in a room with the team that make this game and get them to explain to me what the fuck they were thinking, because it's just a very frustrating and miserable experience. And I could list 100 things that are wrong with this without notes. I could just do it off the top of my head. But I don't think they care, and that's fine. Anyway, you wouldn't know. At the start of this game, every single time that you load up PES, you have to spam the X button or the circle button like
10
times because
millions of menus.
It's got
updates and
essentially
patch
pop-ups. It's pop-ups. Even if there's no patches or anything, they're like, oh, you should head into... I can't remember what it's called. We'll call it Ultimate Team. Let's call it Ultimate Team. They're like that, Konami. And yeah, you have go into Ultimate Team. You can get like a special gold Messi. and you literally have to cycle through at least. I'm not exaggerating, at least 5 or 6 screens before you get to the main menu of just like, come and have a look at this. They're literally like peddling their wares, they're like opening their fucking coat and being like, oh, you like it? Do you want any pegs? What do you fancy? It's fucking bullshit. Anyway, embedded in that a few weeks ago with a patch with an update, it told you that they added the Euro mode. And you could easily miss that because quite obviously and quite rightly, you would just be spamming through to exit and get to the actual game that you've paid for. And if you did miss that, and if you don't follow any sort of like gaming news or anything, you'd have no idea that this had been added because it's only in kickoff mode down to cup, and then you go new cup, and then it's in there. Euro 2020. Yeah, there's nowhere else on the game. They haven't changed any of the splash screens or the nothing.
You think it would have like its own tab kind of thing?
Oh, absolutely, you would. Especially seeing as on the main menu, it's got like almost like a sort of what's new. Like if you're hovering over the tab on your PS4, the what's new, which has just been a story about how Andre Iniesta had some input into the design of the video game. And that was there when the demo launched, and it's still the only story on there.
Well,
on their main menu screen, they've got an inactive blog on their main menu screen. And obviously perfect opportunity to use said blog, buddy, as you quite rightly say, to advertise the fact that you've added content to the video game, but they didn't.
Imagine that.
So yeah, anyway, this cup game, cup mode, you go into new game, you go into cup, you select Euro 2020, it flashes up with the, I presume, like intro graphics that would have been used for Euro 2020. Then it gives you all of the groups, and let's not forget that the groups weren't finalized because there were still playoffs to play. So most of the groups had 3 teams in them, and they've just sort of guessed at the other qualifying team.
Took a punt, really.
Yeah,
why not?
They've also added, I think, two new stadiums, and the kits are correct for all the countries. Although crucially, they've added all of the European teams that participated from the qualifying stage. So even the teams that weren't going to make it there, like you can play as Gibraltar, for example, but they don't seem to have been able to get the rights to all the player names. So half of those teams are randomly generated names of people, which is
cool.
Of course. Anyway,
very Konami.
That's basically it. Like, there's new graphics for when you go into the actual game. It does that thing that PES has been doing since the dawn of time, where there's an ident that comes up between every replay and exit from replay that outstays its welcome and just sort of dazzles you. And it does that with a new one that's just some people and a cup. But there's not really anything there at all. And it sounds like I'm moaning because I am moaning, but at the same time, if you're going to bother to do anything, then just at least publicize it or put it on the main screen or something. This is eFootball. Like, the literal title of this video game is eFootball, but there is absolutely no way to take this newfound content online. You can't play anyone in this Euro mode. So eFootball, it's not eFootball, is it? Because there's no fucking modes. So go into Ultimate Team, and you can play against other people. There's nothing else to say about it. That's about it. And the game's fucking shit. It's a shit football game. Nothing coming out of Konami about what they're planning, what their intentions are as for next gen. I don't know what's going on there. Most people baffled that they continue to make this football game. And equal parts disappointed and kind of pleased because, the idea of living in a world where FIFA is the only choice if you want to play a football game is quite a miserable one, even if PES is toilet. But yeah, there you are, buddy. There's your rundown. What did you think of that?
I fucking love it.
You're welcome.
Huge fan.
There it was for you. There it was.
Nice. So I guess we move on to The Last of Us Part 2 then, buddy, which came out on Friday. Friday? Yeah, Friday.
Friday, yeah. And obviously not able to talk a great deal about this because of the whole story thing, but I've made some notes I don't know. I suppose we'll issue a spoiler warning. We aren't going to talk about the story. But if you wanted to go in completely cold to this video game, then I
Skip
suppose
the next 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I've got some initial thoughts. Most of them are gameplay based, and I'm not going to talk about the story in any way, shape, or form. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Sounds good to me. I mean, I'm only like 3 hours in anyway, so I would hope that you wouldn't ruin the story.
No, that would be ridiculous.
Immediately, I'm very interested. I don't really know what the fuck's going on. There's some people and shit's happening, and I'm like, wow, where's this gonna go? You know?
It's yeah. I mean,
you know where it's going because you've completed it.
So without giving anything away, to give you my opinion on the game overall with no details whatsoever in terms of how I feel having just finished it, I think it's a good game. I don't think it's a great game. Ooh. I don't understand why it's getting the scores that it's getting. It baffles me that this game sits on, I think, 96 average Metacritic.
It's impressive.
And I can only think that the reason that it's being given that score is because of the issues that it tackles as part of the story. I also think that anyone who doesn't like this video game is getting an absolute kicking at the moment.
I can see that.
They're being accused of being sort of bigoted for like not caring about, social justice, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not caring about like gay rights, LGBTQ values. I think that there's a lot of people getting a kicking for their opinion on the actual video game for maybe the wrong reasons. The reason I don't think it's a brilliant video game is because I don't think it plays that brilliantly. I think it's
what movement
mechanically, yeah.
So
it's a really good game, and I really like it. There's loads of stupid fucking shit in here, and there's loads of reasons why there's problems with it. Firstly, I think the upgrade system is firstly the upgrade trees are quite shit, but also in terms of like they don't really change much. As far as I can tell, what they do is make everything actually usable. And when you start the game, I just feel like so often, like I'm a veteran of like stealth games. Like I'm not saying I'm brilliant at video games, but I love stealth.
You've played stealth games.
I love Hitman. I love Dishonored, and I've never played a game where so often I go into essentially a kill box, because this game is literally just a series of
kill boxes,
multi-story levels mixed with 10-minute cutscenes. That's what this game is. This game also way fucking longer than it should be, by the way. But yeah, I've never played a stealth combat game where on so many occasions, I've been caught and killed, or I've had to attempt to try and gun every fucker down because I was being seen in some stupid way. Or like it happens all the time. I honestly, I feel like 80% of the time things don't go the way that I wanted them to, and I don't believe that is all me.
To take a punt at a situation where this happened to me, it's a room of like 4 dudes, 4 clickers, which is the ones that like can't see you but can hear you, or something like that. And go around, kill 3 of them, no bov. Right, next one is the other side of this counter. He turns around, starts walking away. I jimmy it over the counter. He still doesn't hear me. I get right next to him, and then suddenly he turns around and kills me. I'm like, right, okay.
Yeah.
I do the exact same thing next time he doesn't kill me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, what I did was right. So why did it not work the first time?
It feels like it completely encourages you to play it in a way where you have to just sweep and clear very, very gradually. But then it very rarely seems to give me the tools required to do that. I'm so sick of searching everywhere for supplies. I'm so tired of going around an entire building to find 2 pistol bullets.
I saw a little snippet of a video. In some of the fucking settings, somewhere you can turn on where when you listen, things actually make a ping.
Oh yeah, and in terms of quality of life stuff
There's a lot of
and that
stuff,
sort of
and
thing, if
I
you go
think I'm
into
going to turn that
options, you
on
can
because I'm a lazy
change
cunt.
um, how readily equipment is available. It's got lots of different sliders. One for supplies, so you can turn them right up. It's got one you can change how likely it is that people will hear you. You can change how violent the enemies are and how much damage they do. Like it's got all that stuff in there. And I saw someone saying that they played through it the first time, and whilst they enjoyed it, they got really sick of the sort of inventory stuff. They played through it a second time. They made themselves a bit more powerful, and they made the ammo more plentiful. And then suddenly they were able to tackle this in loads of different ways. And there's a disconnect here between a video game that is trying to make you think and feel. And it's not that Naughty Dog have come out this week and said that fun's like a fucking taboo word in the Naughty Dog studios. They're trying to make this engaging experience. They're not trying to make something that's fun. Unfortunately, the game is very fun. So sorry, Neil Druckmann, but they don't provide. The only way it isn't really is the way that they don't really provide you with enough of anything. And but what the point I'm making about the upgrade tree is, it feels to me like it's nerfed by the upgrades, and it feels like once I got about halfway up those upgrade trees, I finally felt like the weapons were reasonable to use. And
Another point. Go on.
That's kind of annoying, really. Like that's not really how upgrade systems should work, but it seems to be where we are here.
I'm Ellie or whoever. I've been around for a few years, yeah.
Yeah.
I live in a village where we go out and hunt zombies or whatever. Do you not think I would already have a lot of these upgrades in the many years that I've spent in this world?
To a degree, that carries over into everyone. The way everyone behaves. Ellie is probably should be widely regarded the hardest bastard of all of them. She traveled across the country as a 14-year-old, repeatedly saving a grown-ass man. But every character in this game treats her like a fucking idiot, which is incredibly annoying. But yeah, I don't want to go into story stuff.
Yeah, obviously. So to speak. But I'm just saying
that annoys me. Like the fact that the weaponry is
fucking.
It just feels like it's hard to do anything. It's hard to And while we're on the subject of upgrading, the upgrade animation system, we find these benches and you want to upgrade your weaponry. There's this whole series of animations that they've bothered to do for this upgrade system, and it's just fucking wasting my time. It's so frustrating every time.
I don't need to see you file down
on a
that
pistol.
gun.
No. Put a scope on a pistol, I have to sit there for 25-30 seconds while she fucks about and then parks the scope onto, uses a screwdriver, polishes it down, and then if you want to do more than one upgrade at a time, well, fuck you, because it's going to come all the way back out of that and put you back in a situation where you have to once again select the same weapon that you were already upgrading, and then you have to watch another animation. That's bullshit.
It's like they're not treating it like a video game.
Well, they're trying to make it realistic in a way that makes it feel annoying to me. I don't need any of that stuff, and it's not enjoyable, and it just
quality of life.
It's just bad. And then what else? It's the AI is fucking dog shit. Absolutely dog shit. The zombies, you could completely understand why their AI is dog shit. They're zombies. Yes. But the humans in this game all follow set paths like it's fucking 2001. Yeah. And they'll, regularly I'll spook an enemy and they'll park themselves up on a tower because they know where I am and they're waiting for me to pop my head out. And if I don't do so for about 30 or 40 seconds, they forget that I'm there and they're like, oh, I'll keep looking around. And then they go back to their set path again. They charge you and they flank you, but they do it in the most obvious way possible.
Yeah.
The AI is bad in this game. And the only reason that it's super challenging and goes so badly wrong for you is because they crowd you if they find you and back you into a corner. That's the only reason. And yeah, they'll knock you down in ways that I just find utterly ridiculous. I think there's a lot of weird shit going on with the bow where sometimes I headshot someone and they die, and sometimes they don't. So I've had several occasions where I've headshotted someone and they've grabbed their leg and then come charging towards me and killed me with a shotgun. I don't know what's going on there. This combat is good fun and enjoyable, but there are huge swathes of this game where it gets so repetitive because you're just going from small area to small area to small area for hours and nothing changes. Most of the puzzles from the first game, which weren't good puzzles, find a ladder, put it here. But this one, even less of that. Basically, most of it is find a fucking wheelie bin, and then you climb on the wheelie bin, or throw a rope or whatever. But it gets very repetitive in the middle. There's dogs in this game, and all dogs in video games are fucking annoying. Like, they're so much more powerful than all other enemies because of the way that they zigzag towards you. It's incredibly annoying, and I suppose it mixes up the combat to a degree, and I suppose fair enough, but I find them really annoying.
I find the zombies annoying though in this, like the way they come at you and like you try and shoot them, and because they keep, side to side, wobbly. It's like you can't shoot them. It's just I end up wasting so much ammo.
Well, the animations are so fluid that it's got a sort of dodge and spam square mechanic. Dodge is like L1 square.
Yeah, that's what I've mainly been using.
It's really hard.
I haven't been shooting people, so I'm just like, I'll just dodge and punch and then dodge and punch.
Yeah. I mean, I would say Assassin's Creed does a better job of that sort of combat than this does. It just feels a little clunky. And then in terms of environmental stuff, very, very weird decisions in the first 4 hours of the game, there's a huge open world section, sort of Uncharted 4-esque.
Yeah.
After that section, the entire thing is 100% linear for the next 20 hours. And that seems very weird to me. Overall, yeah, it's these are all negatives. The positives are nothing builds a mood like this video game does.
Fucking impressive stuff, isn't it?
It looks absolutely astounding for this console. I think it took the edge off of the visuals a little bit, seeing the PS5 reveal. I think it damaged this game a little bit in its looks because we saw all those 4K 60 like videos with all this texturing and particle effects and so on. This game can't obviously live with that because it's a PS4 game, but it's comfortably the nicest looking PS4 game. The stuff they do with like grass here and lighting is
I love the snow falling off the trees.
That's really nice
touch.
They've come a long way with their game engine. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. For the most part, the gameplay is super, super tense and scary. Like, this is a great horror game.
Yay!
So I think it's excellent. The story is okay. I think the story is okay. A lot of people hate it, and there's a great deal of controversy about Sony embargoing a huge section of the game and telling reviewers that they weren't allowed to talk about like a 12-hour section of the video game. And people are focusing on the fact that Sony are complete cunts. And I think that people should be focusing on the fact that publications decided to publish the reviews with that proviso in mind, rather than waiting until the video game launched and they could properly review
say whatever they want.
I don't understand why.
You got to be the first out the traps and get them fucking views and clicks and all
you
that
fucking
shit.
Don't. You absolutely don't, especially when you're talking about a video game where the reviews came out essentially on launch day. No one had completed the video game at that point in terms of the general wider population. So no one wanted any spoilers or anything. There was absolutely no necessity to have a day one review of The Last of Us 2. The game sells itself. It's a console juggernaut. And, if you're IGN, if you're GameSpot, you do not need to publish an immediate day one review under those stipulations from Sony. Yeah, obviously, like, I can't talk about why they did that, but let's just say that the entire game's story is affected by that decision, and they're trying to hide things from you to surprise you to a degree. But I just think if you've got any fucking scruples whatsoever, you will not publish your review being told you're not allowed to talk about half of the video game. And
Yeah.
let's face it, the bit of the game that you're not allowed to talk about is the bit that a lot of people aren't going to like. So it's hugely disingenuous. It's caused a great deal of anguish and anger and sort of misery. And, you know, fuck anyone who feels angry and miserable. I don't care about you at all. Like, grow up. But also, I don't get it. If you're sitting in one of these publications, and we already know none of you are fucking games journalists. There's maybe 3 of you in the world. And most of you have already covered this studio and this game. No review of any kind mentioned any of the sort of negative connotations with Naughty Dog. They didn't mention any of the sort of controversies surrounding the sort of working environment of people. Yeah. You could argue one way or another whether it's relevant in a review. It's hard for me to play through this thing and not think about it, not think about the fact that a load of people were fucking like slaved away on this thing. At the same time, I still think you know what the fucking industry is. So you work for Naughty Dog or you don't, and no one is forcing you. There is a little bit of an element of that, I think, that perhaps deserves a mention. I'm not saying that, you know, that's the be all and end all of a working conditions discussion, but you don't have to work there. That's all I'm saying. And anyway, to summarize my weird, like, hurricane of thoughts on this video game, I really enjoyed it a great deal, and it's a fantastic game with a story that a lot of people are going to fucking hate, and it will make you sit through it. It's not the game that I thought it was going to be in some ways. In story ways, it's not the game that I thought it was going to be, and it's perhaps too much the game I thought it was going to be in terms of gameplay. And for me, it's you know, if you're slapping a review score on it, it's an 8.5 video game. Yeah. It's not the masterpiece of the first one, and that's mainly because the story of the first one, the concept is just better and easier to pull off, and they tried to maybe do too much here with their sort of characterization, but I just think that it never really works in the same way as the first one did. It's still a wonderful video game, but I've seen people comparing it to like blockbuster classic films like fucking, you know, Citizen Kane, and it's a fucking video game. It's a video game. They have shit stories, especially AAA video games. This one also has a shit story because it is a AAA video game.
Mm.
There you are. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You've gone into a lot of details about a lot of different things. And my main gripes so far are, I fucking stop taking control away from me.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you with your cheap jump scares, you cunts.
Yes.
I don't need that in my life. It's just annoying. Like, oh, I've got to go through this little crack. Okay. Oh, I come out and someone's jumped on me. Or,
I hate that. It does it all the time.
I've got to go under this fucking lorry and someone's, I've been jumped again. I'm just like, no, I don't need that in my life. Yes, I know it's coming. Yes, it is going to scare me, as it always does. But fuck you. Fuck you. And also, like, you spoke about it briefly, like the controls, the mechanics, but the movement is just, I can't get right. No, it's not right. Like one of the first bits where like you have to leave like a room and go across like the town, and you're doing this weird jog. I'm like, what is this?
Climbing, trying to climb off of objects is ridiculous. Like, you sort of this weird falling mechanic, and then you just sort of drop, like, in a full upright fashion. And you have to wonder about that sort of thing. Like, what happened there? There's so much in this game that is, insanely detailed, and yet every time I fall off something, oh fuck's sake, my my logic just crashed.
No, it's crashed, didn't it?
Don't know why that's happened.
What were you on about falling off something?
Yeah, we'll do a quick click and
yeah, buddy,
right
no worries. It's all good.
And shut my Spotify down.
It's very hot.
It is. I think my poor little computer's struggling a little bit. How am I for storage? 25 gig. Should be fine. It's just 8.
Should be fine.
Here comes another click.
Right, one second, I'm just pouring a beer. I'll finish the rest off later. Right, ready for a click. Yeah, I'm good. Just remember to put some timestamps in, buddy.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, click.
Cool.
So yeah, it just makes you wonder. Like, it's really weird how there's so much intense detail in this video game, and yet whenever you fall off an object, which is obviously going to happen all the time, it's such a shit animation. It seems weird. I don't really understand it.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's strange.
What's up
but yeah,
with walking backwards all the time as well?
Yeah, there is some nice stuff where if you turn the camera around, then she sort of turns around as well. There's some good stuff.
I haven't found that. I've just found that like I'm doing the moonwalk constantly.
Moonwalking back.
Just like I'm trying to turn around and go that way, and they're just like walking.
I think you've nailed what I was trying to say about the movement and stuff. It doesn't quite control. It just feels a bit woolly and kind of.
It feels like tank controls in a way.
That kind of makes me. That's why I think that's why I keep fucking it. That's why I keep getting like. I don't really die that often, but I do waste all my ammo when I was trying to stealth a section, and then it doesn't give me any more for ages. Anyway, I don't know. We may eventually do some sort of spoiler cast about this. I'd imagine by the time we get there, it's not really going to be worth it.
Sure. It's going to take me a good few weeks to get through this.
Yeah, it's a long game, and as I said, it's too long. It's way too long. Like literally like 7 hours too long, in my opinion. Like there's whole sections of this game that could have been
that's like
cut
3 days of gaming for me.
Yeah, it's just it feels padded, and it's unnecessary. There's a lot of twists and turns. Without spoiling any story stuff whatsoever, the biggest problem I have with this game is it absolutely makes you do bad shit, and then it seems to spend like the next several hours holding that up and being like, oh, do you feel anything yet? Oh, you bastard, kind of thing.
You did this.
Yeah, you made me do that, and I don't feel any remorse whatsoever because your writing isn't good enough. So
yeah,
but
oh well,
it's great. It's a great game. I highly recommend it. It's not a masterpiece by any stretch.
I think the fact that we're going into it so much is because of all the fucking.
It's divisive.
Yeah,
it is. It's divisive. As a technical achievement, it is absolutely amazing for this system. It's the perfect swan song for this console. But it is not the game that I think a lot of people wanted. People who loved the first game, a lot of them, myself included, as you'll remember, for years, was saying, "I don't want a sequel to The Last of Us."
Didn't need it.
It didn't need it. I don't think it fails at all here, really, in terms of like living up to the first game. I think it's a nice addition to the story, but it was unnecessary to a degree. And where they go with it is a mess, and a lot of people will hate it. Lots of people will hate this video game, but
oh well,
there we are.
Might be me. We'll find out in a few weeks, maybe, if I can be asked.
It's decent. It's decent. I just think it should be better than decent. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah. Understandable.
So there we are. There's some games. Should we talk about
Other shit.
Other shit is what I've written.
I'd say we'll probably talk about other shit right now.
Eloquent from me there.
Yeah. Firstly, another shit. I've updated our Stitcher. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like a podcast thing. Yeah. I went for some, obviously, because I did the Spotify thing. I was like, oh, what else are we on? I went out and checked them. Like, Apple's fine. Podcast, it's good. Whatever. Spotify's working, even though there's only 10 of them on there. And I went on Stitcher. I think it was like episode 150 something. I'm like, that's quite old. I wonder why that's not updating. So then I had to fucking find out what our bloody login details were. I managed to get them. Logging in. Yeah, I just hadn't updated the podcast feed for the past 2 years. I was like, fuck it. Done now, though.
That's despite all those hundreds of listeners on Stitcher complaining that they no longer could listen to the
We
show.
have got one review on Stitcher. I can't remember what it said, but it was 5 stars, buddy.
Oh, beautiful.
I don't know who did it, but well done.
Well, thank you very
much.
much.
We're back now, if you're listening still.
He's just been cycling through those 150 episodes for the last 2 years. Just like, when are they going to release something new? One day.
There you go. 100 episodes. Fill your fucking boots, son.
Speaking of services no one uses, buddy.
Okay, go on.
Microsoft is shutting down Mixer. Did you see the news? The devastating news.
Yeah, see, we jumped ship from that ages ago when they started fucking about with it, and I was like, no.
We were ahead of the curve in that respect. Yeah. They're closing down Mixer completely. They are going to be partnering with Facebook Gaming. And anyone that they've got exclusive on the Mixer platform, they've offered.
Ninja?
Like Ninja is the only one that springs to mind. There's another dude who's slightly less famous than Ninja, and therefore I don't know his name. They've offered incentives for Ninja to move over to Facebook Gaming, but he's also free to break contracts and head off back to Twitch, apparently. Yeah, it never really worked, Mixer. What was it called before Mixer?
Beam.pro.
Beam.pro. Yeah.
Beam.pro.
Yeah. Credit to Microsoft knowing when
they had some really good ideas with it, with like the whole co-op streaming and things like that.
Yeah.
All different shit going on, but no.
It's a no. So,
it's a no. No one cared enough, I guess.
So yeah,
not even the great Ninja.
Not even Ninja could save them there.
No.
The wonderful Ninja. Yeah. So that's shutting down. There's that. Elsewhere, Cyberpunk's been delayed till November.
Wank.
Kind of annoying for 2 reasons. Firstly, because it's been delayed until November. It's fairly self-explanatory. But also, in delaying it till November, that sort of makes you think, oh shit, this thing's going to be like a console launch title for PS5 and Xbox Series X. And that's sort of true, but
well, no,
they're patching
it'll run on net.
It'll run and it'll run well, but the main sort of PS5-ness is coming in a patch at a later date that won't be ready for November. So
yeah,
it's very much going to be like running a backwards compatible game almost, which
I'm sure will be fine.
Oh, it'll be great. It looks good on PS4 anyway. We've seen footage of it running on it. So it'll be fine. And that game, I'm still mega excited. That's a studio that really can tell a story. So looking forward to that. And I can wait till November. I'd rather play it on PS5 anyway. Because like Assetto Corsa Competizione before it, buddy, I don't want to play video games in 30 frames per second anymore. No. I'm looking at you, The Last of Us Part 2. I do understand. But I kind of camera around. Sometimes it's like,
yeah. You gotta give it a bit of slack there, though, buddy.
Gibbons, yeah, it looks wonderful, and it doesn't need to run faster than 30, to be honest.
No.
But it's it is what it is. I'm sure it'll run nice on the PS5 when that comes out. Yeah. Speaking of PS5, the PlayStation Store. I've noticed the games on there that are coming out in the sort of holiday season, aka the sort of PS5 titles, are $59.99 standard edition.
Yes.
So this is presumably the new RRP for games.
Yeah, do
right?
you remember EA kind of set that precedent?
They said they were going to do it
2 years ago, wasn't it?
Sony's following suit, and
Yeah, everyone will get on board on that, buddy.
The idea of paying £60 for Crash Bandicoot 4, which, by the way, was officially revealed this week after being leaked by the Taiwanese ratings board last week. The idea of paying 60 quid that's quite a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah. It's it's not cheap, mate, unfortunately.
Well, saving a lot of money on not buying a gaming PC, though, buddy. So,
there is that, I guess.
Spend that gaming PC money on those new PS5 titles.
Yeah, on that Crash Bandicoot 4. Fucking sweet.
Gonna want to get involved. Looks good, actually. Looks really good. That'll be a purchase for myself and the missus. Heavily leaning into the missus there. The only other thing, before I just talk about the EA stuff, is I suppose this is EA related. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, the 2010 version by Criterion Games, which we have on Steam and actually streamed very briefly on our very, very old channel, Parker and Schley Play.
Parker, yeah, you can check it out on YouTube.
It's still there.
Still there. I actually watched some of that. It was the fucking Kane and Lynch that we played.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. I watched that. I think it was this week or last week, actually.
Really?
For some reason, it just popped up on my YouTube feed. I was like, yeah, all right then, thank you. I'll see what that was like. And that was like 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago. There you go. That was a right ball ache to record all that shit and sync it all up. And God knows, it's a lot easier now to record gameplay footage.
Yeah, we've moved on, haven't we, in that respect? Yeah. I mean, the consoles weren't even doing it back then. It was launch of the PS4 and your share button all of a sudden, and you're streaming.
Boom.
Anyway, Need for Speed, it was a good game. I liked it. It was fun. In fact, I think it might have been the last good Need for Speed. Like really good.
What about Need for Speed? That was a great game. Yeah, it was.
I'm not sure about that.
It was. I mean, cut out the FMV bollocks. Racing. Drifting.
Racing was decent.
It was fun.
I did enjoy that.
We platinumed that game. How was that not fun?
It wasn't hard to platinum, but
I mean,
we did do it.
We must have been like, once we got it and got into it and was like, oh, that's the racing. Like, if I played it now, I'd be terrible. But it was really good.
It was a good game. Yeah. This game is much better than that game, though. Despite being 5 years older, and it's being remastered for some fucking reason.
Of course it is.
That's nice.
That's what we need, more remasters.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happening, but it is.
Heaven forbid they make a new Hot Pursuit.
Yeah, I got really excited when they said it was a remaster of Hot Pursuit, because my favourite Need for Speed ever was Need for Speed 3, Hot Pursuit. And I thought that was what they were going to be talking about, because I thought there's no way they're going to be remastering that 2010 game. It didn't even do especially well, and it's not even that old, and I suppose it is that old, but
10 years, isn't it?
10 years old. Yeah. Weird. Anyway, there we are. That's all the sort of peripheral news, the ancillary news, buddy. Ooh. And let's just end with the EA conference / live show / Greg Miller on a couch simulator that I watched, and I don't know if anyone else did last week.
No, I didn't. Tell me all about it. What's up? What's up with the EA Sports, I'm guessing?
They showed a sort of... it was just an FMV-esque sort of trailer, and it was a mixture of various sports, mainly FIFA and NFL. They didn't really show anything particularly next-gen-y, which I was kind of hoping for, but then you could never tell anyway, because all of the FIFA trailers are in-engine in inverted commas, but it's always just fucking prefab, pre-rendered bullshit.
Of course it is.
So, I mean, that's a sort of fucking... I can't remember who it was now. One of the publications this week was like, look how amazing next-gen FIFA looks, and they just published 4 like FMV-esque screenshots like you see every year. Like, you could go back and look at a FIFA 13
and it'd be
prefab material. Yeah. Oh, it looks so amazing. yeah, the only thing you can say is this game is it's coming out on like current gen, and then you're going to get a free upgrade to next gen. They haven't announced when the next gen versions will be released yet, but they have announced that it won't be launching the next gen version on PC. This is that classic thing where they don't bother. Konami were kind of famed for this. They did it at the transition between the PS2 and PS3, the sort of PS2 to 360, where they just basically said fuck you to PC gamers and continued to release the old engine versions of the game for I think 2 or 3 years into that life cycle. Anyway, EA's doing that this time, and PC players are livid. Obviously, they can fuck themselves because they're PC FIFA players, and no one cares. No one cares about them at all. But yeah, it's worth mentioning that that's what's happening there. I haven't put much. There's a new game from the people who made Fee.
Who cares?
You what?
It's because who cares about EA?
Well, no one really does. The guys who made Fee are making a new game.
Okay.
And Joseph Ferres?
Yep.
The Way Out dude.
Yeah.
He said that his new game is going to be like really amazing, but we didn't really see anything of either of them. And
cool.
I don't believe that either of them,
That's as good as me saying, yeah, my dick is massive, guys.
It's huge.
It's the biggest you'll ever see, but
absolutely.
You'll never see it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was their sort of pledge to smaller studios type thing. It was a very friendly conference because Greg Miller's a decent host, but
he's been about.
Yeah, the big stuff was they released the footage of this thing called Rocket Arena, which looks like a sort of shitty deathmatch cash grab where they're just going to sell you outfits. That's how it felt, at least.
I fucking love those games.
The big two stories were Star Wars Squadrons, which had already been teased.
Squadrons.
And Skate 4 was finally confirmed.
But not anytime fucking soon.
We're suddenly in a position where there's 3 skating games on the horizon.
I know.
Nothing for like 5 years.
Fuck my life. Brilliant. I mean, Skate 4 is going to be... It's not going to be out for like 2-3 years, I reckon. Easy.
Yeah, well, it sounded like they're only just going into pre-production with it.
They're like, oh, what? You want... What? Skate 4? You want Skate 4? Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So yeah, like the big thing, I can't even remember if they showed any Battlefield 6. I can't remember. I watched it a week ago. They may have done. There's a trailer floating about for that game, so
is that the next Battlefield then? 6.
It's the next Battlefield.
Is that what we're going for?
Battlefield 6.
Okay.
The big thing with Star Wars Squadrons, this is a space combat simulator. Fly about in your X-Wing or your TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighter, X-Wing. Got you.
Yeah, like X-Wing or TIE Fighter or X-Wing versus TIE Fighter.
What?
Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
And so on. Federer versus Nadal. So
okay.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Yeah.
It's Battlefront, but it's in space. It's
You sound so excited.
It's a combat flying sim. It looks fun. It looks nice. It's by EA Motive. It's got the Motive thing going on. I don't know. I mean, it looks to me like they're trying to harvest some of the Battlefront game modes. So as well as it having sort of deathmatchy stuff, you've got what looked like a sort of conquest or rush mode, where essentially you've got different waves. So the first wave, you might fight off a load of little fighters coming towards you, and then second wave, you take out a couple of sort of smaller cruisers or whatever, and eventually you're delving down to the point where you can go on like a bombing run and attack the Star Destroyer. It's got a full-blown single-player campaign. There was no discussion as to whether it would have co-op in that campaign, but I kind of got the impression that they were kind of aiming for that. But yeah, citation needed there. Deathmatch wise, you're looking at 5v5 death matches, although they didn't confirm or deny that there might be more than 2 teams. And in terms of the look and the combat, it looked fun and decent. Although I thought the flying certainly in Battlefront, when you got in those ships, was rubbish. So, hopefully it's going to be better than that. The only other thing to really mention was that the entire campaign is fully playable in VR on PlayStation and on PC. So,
okay,
it's going to be a PSVR title.
You've actually perked my interest now.
Yeah, there you go.
Well done.
It looks decent. It looks decent. The guy that they were talking to, the creative director, he seemed quite passionate and like not fake. Obviously, in starting the entire show with Android Wilson delivering this thing about like Black Lives Matter,
Beep,
kind
boop.
of. Well, yeah, boop, beep, boop, boop. We care about what you care about. Boop, 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 beep, beep. I am a billionaire. He in starting proceedings with him, it was kind of like, it was not the best, but there was lots of good stuff here, and it wasn't the worst EA show I've ever watched.
Just something that popped into my head. I think that Andrew Wilson is a mixture between Handsome Jack and who's the guy from Detroit Become Human, both robot people. So I think it's
David Cage.
He's the guy
the
that makes it.
robot.
The actual robot.
David Cage.
No, the is it Andrew or something? I don't know what the character's name is, but Corey. I don't know, but he's a mixture of Handsome Jack and that character in that together. There you go. That's who he is.
There you are. The big theme from this show was crossplay, and other than the sports games, they're pushing it for everything basically.
Oh, okay.
EA want all of their games to be crossplay across the consoles and the PC. There was discussions about obviously the consoles in the next gen. They're going to be more powerful, more parity with shooters and that sort of thing with the PC, because the fact that you can kind of boost up the graphics and get similar FPSs and that sort of thing. But yeah, even existing games and everything they launched for current gen was essentially crossplay as well, or coming soon crossplay. So that was seemed to be their big focus. Something that I don't care about, but I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't. I understand why. So yeah, unless one of our game night lot breaks rank and fucking buys an Xbox or a PC or something, then it probably won't be of much interest to us. But it was an interesting.
The main interest for me is my son. Like, some of his mates have got PlayStation, some have got Xboxes and shit like that. And like the one game that they can all play together is Fortnite, which isn't great because it's Fortnite, but like he can play that on his PC upstairs in his room, or he can go down and play it on his PlayStation downstairs, and he can play it with all of his great friends. I was going to say cunty friends, but no, I didn't. Yeah. So well, I think for future generations, I think it will be a big thing. I think it's a fantastic thing, crossplay. Yeah,
I mean they've introduced it for Need for Speed Heat, Apex Legends. There's a fair old whack of stuff. I think the plan is to get there with FIFA and so on as well.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just haven't just yet, but yeah, there you go. That was about it.
That's
really.
EA. Nice. Yeah. I love it.
Cool. And that's our show. I got nothing else to say.
I'm done. I'm really sweaty.
Yeah, sweaty from the roller boogie, buddy. It's been a hot one. Yeah, we as I said, we'll think about maybe tackling some sort of spoiler pod for The Last of Us in the future. If there's interest there, I know there's a few people in the Discord. You can find the Discord from our Twitch or YouTube channels, or going to the JfG Podcast.co.uk.
What website? Well. Damn.
But yeah, other than that, buddy, thanks very much. We'll fuck off, shall we?
Yeah, I'm done, mate.
Yeah, thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll be back next week. Until then, I've been Alex. He has been Ash.
Goodbye.